I'm joined with AQ Shipley, and we are talking about our favorite blocks from this season. AQ, take it away.
Let's just go right into it and talk what we know best, and that is the trenches. If you take a look at this play, center, left guard, left tackle, all got one-on-one blocks. We got to switch off any games. As Darisaw kicks back, we get a quick slant from 53, the defensive end. As he goes inside, we get an ETN around. As McNeil comes back around, he has only one option, spin back, and still gets in perfect position. Christian Darisaw, one of the best young linemen, maybe the best lineman in all of football, tears his ACL this year. Vikings go on to give up 9 sacks first round of the playoffs. Early exit from one of the better teams in football. A big reason why they didn't have this guy.
I mean, this is one of the areas where you get 3 defensive linemen all to one side of the offensive line. Antennas start to go up of hey, games could potentially happen. The defense is going to try to run all sorts of slants and motions. Aleem McNeil is an all-pro defensive tackle. For Christian Darisaw to do a complete 180 and catch Aleem McNeil, who's trying to bull rush him and stop him dead in his tracks. Who's your comp? Who's a guy that we've talked about for years that he reminds you of?
Trent Williams, hands down. He's baby Trent Williams. Not even a question.
All right, I'm going to jump into one of my blocks of the year. We have Robert Hunt from the Carolina Panthers. He's here at right guard. They're going to run a screen out to the left. He absolutely throws. I actually feel bad for Spillane on this one. He actually gets blocked by the left guard to start. Robert Hunt catches him and throws him out of the club. He goes flying 5 yards from the point of attack. Chuba Hubbard's able to gain an extra 5 yards on it. This is just a microcosm of what this guy was able to do. That interior offensive line of the Panthers, I think we can expect some really good things from them in the future.
Yeah, it was a big emphasis, obviously, going into this offseason. They bring in Canales. Obviously, they bring in a whole new staff. Harold Goodwin, offensive line coach, Joe Gilbert, both former O-line for a long, long time. But they love the big guard. So they go out and get Robert Hunt. They pay the shit out of him. And when he is on, he's a Pro Bowl type player. All right, let's get into the next one. We got Cam Jurgens. And the reason why I love this block, the reason why I love this player is because going into this year, the biggest question mark of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line was the loss of Jason Kelce to retirement. They get a guy, Cam Jurgens, who has been playing guard next to Kelce. They move him back to his natural position where they drafted him out of Nebraska at center. Here is exactly why he makes the Pro Bowl. Cam escapes the center, knocks him down. Now Saquon's going to take this thing to distance. He's still going. Boom, knock him down again as Saquon goes 50 yards for a touchdown.
I mean, and this one is a little bit of the, foreshadowing what was going to happen last week. He had a back injury, comes into the game, plays the second half, play lights out. He's emotional. He's crying, tearing up after the game. Plays like this is how you get to the Super Bowl. Cam Jurgens replacing a Hall of Famer is not an easy task, but man, you are doing it well, brother. So we're talking run blocking, and this guy, and I know you love him, is Chris Lindstrom from the Atlanta Falcons. He is playing right guard, number 63. What he does better than anyone is the cut block. And before this is taken and outlawed from the NFL, we have to highlight what this man does. Zach Bond, who is up for Defensive Player of the Year, watch Chris Lindstrom just chop him down. Takes out the knee, Bijan Robinson. Now, this isn't the sexiest play. It's a 7-8 yard gain. He does it every single game, and the gains get bigger every single time. AQ, give me your take on the cut block and what makes it so dangerous and how it wears teams down over the course of the game.
Yeah, if you're Zach Bond and you take this 3 or 4 times, you are thinking about this every single time an offensive lineman gets to the second level. You don't want to get your knees chopped out. You don't want to, it does not feel good. Yeah, you wear these little pads. They don't do anything to protect. If you take 320 pounds plus 20 pounds of equipment and you run it right through that thigh board, it hurts. And you do not want to get it over and over and over again. And it slows you down, and it continuously shows up on film when you watch Chris Lindstrom. He's such a good run blocker at the first level. And then when he gets to the second level, his athleticism shines and he cuts everybody on the ground. It's incredible.
Well, I think those are a few of the plays that we wanted to highlight, but I know you had a couple offensive lines you want to highlight as a unit. We know it's 5 guys coming together as one. After the season, how you broke it down, give me some of the stars of this league. Give me your top 3 offensive lines.
Top 3, hands down. And honestly, it switched. There was a point probably Early in the season, Detroit Lions were the best offensive line. Philly got better and better, and with Juergens coming on and Mekhi Becton, the big ticket at right guard, coming on, they got better. Obviously, they got a 2,000-yard rusher. Saquon Barkley had an unbelievable year. The Philadelphia Eagles and Jeff Stoutland deserved to be the number one offensive line this year. And then the Detroit Lions come in at number 2. And then take a look at what King Henry and that Baltimore Ravens offensive line. First 2 weeks of the season looked atrocious. Complete 180 in week 3. From week 3 on, they started to thrive, and it all started when they pulled Voorhees out of the lineup, put Macari in at one of the guards, and they make that one switch. They move Rosengarten, the rookie, out to right tackle, and they just took off. That's my top 3 offensive lines. Philadelphia, Detroit, Baltimore, 1, 2, 3.
No, I love that. There's no argument there. Those teams are great. There's no better example of Jeff Stoutland and the Eagles offensive line in this last conference championship where Landon Dickerson, their all-pro left guard, plays and fills in for Cam Juergens, who's hurt in the first half. He goes down with an injury. Cam Juergens steps up injured and plays with a bad back in the second half. And they're just, hey, rotating pieces. We're still going to rush the ball for over 200 yards on you and 7 rushing touchdowns. So I think those are definitely the top 3. What about some young up-and-coming offensive lines that we're not talking about enough right now that are going to be shining stars next year?
Yeah, before we get to that, I think we'd be remiss to not mention Tampa Bay. I know you had talked about them a little bit with me, right? They obviously, I think, in my opinion, are 4, and I think you would agree with that. They jumped from a bottom 5 offensive line, bottom 5 rushing team, all the way into the top 5 this year. So they're a team, you just keep watching them. They got a young center and a young core, obviously, with Tristan Wirfs, maybe the best left tackle in all of football. But some other teams we got to talk about, right? The Denver Broncos, the Chargers, 2 really good teams out of the AFC West that both are trajectory heading north, right? And then you never know what's going to happen in the offseason. The Indianapolis Colts, if they get better offensively, they got a good core offensive line. So that's a group that I think you look at moving forward. If Anthony Richardson can ever figure out how to play quarterback, they got a chance. They got a good running back. They got a good offensive line, right? They got good defensive player. They just got to get that quarterback playing so that O-line gets a little bit of recognition. Then you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? 2 young rookies, both make rookie all-pro.
Yeah.
Right? Like they have a chance to kind of go. And then they were missing Troy Fatanu, one of our favorites coming out last year, right? So now you got a young nucleus of 3 studs that they got all from one draft. So I think those are some teams that you look at in the future.
No, I definitely love those teams. I also got my eye on the Green Bay Packers. I know they got some veterans that got a little dinged up this year, but their 2 tackles played extremely well. And then I think you look at the Kansas City Chiefs as a team that you got to keep an eye on because the tackles have struggled a little bit this year. I think they're going to come in and they're going to address that position. But the question is, can they keep Trey Smith on that team? He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. So the Chiefs might find themselves in a little bit of trouble. They're going to have to replace that talent with young players because they don't have the cap space because they're paying the Patrick Mahomes of the world. So I'll be interested to see how the Kansas City Chiefs navigate their trenches this offseason. But I really think we hit on some great offensive linemen. Not a lot of people think about it, but then when you look at the Super Bowl, look what the Eagles did. You might want to pay those offensive linemen in the future.
The best app for your big game party is on your phone. That's right. You and all of your friends could be feasting on Underdog. Ride together on stats like passing yards, first TDs, interceptions, and so much more. If you or your friends haven't joined Underdog yet, what are you waiting for? Whoever signs up today using code POCKET, capital P-O-C-K-E-T, will get up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, that's code POCKET for up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Head to the App Store and download Underdog today.